Good morning, kids. I want to share with you another lie from our Lie Blaster series taken from the book Just Laugh at It for Kids by Steve Backlund. How many of you have ever had the thought, God, what do you think of me doing this? Or what do you think about the things I enjoy doing? Maybe I should be doing something more important. And then all of a sudden, here comes those lies. God only cares about the big things in life. Or maybe it's the lie, God gets angry when I joke and play. I am not important enough for God to care. What's important to me is not important to God, or God's too busy to think about me. Those are just lies, right? And what do we do with lies? We just laugh at them. So, ha ha. But we got to know what the truth is. So what is truth? The truth is God does care about the big things, but he also cares about the smallest of things. Think about David in the Bible. You know, we hear a lot about David in the Old Testament. And you know that God enjoyed just seeing David, and he delighted in him. And all the things that he loved to do, God loved to do. Think about some of the things that David did. He liked playing with the slingshot. He loved playing with the sheep and watching over the sheep and caring for them. He loved to play his harp. He loved to dance and to sing. He loved to write songs. And so just think about how much God probably enjoyed watching over David. But you know what happened is some of those fun things that David enjoyed made history. Just think about it. Do you know of one thing that David did that he enjoyed playing with as a boy that made history? Think about it for a moment. Are you thinking? Anybody got the answer? It's his slingshot. You remember in 1 Samuel chapter 17, it tells the story of David using that slingshot that he played with and maybe even had target practice that he practiced, seeing how many times he could shoot the bullseye right in the middle and get the target, right? And he loved playing with the slingshot. And here there was this giant Goliath that was just terrorizing people. And David, as a boy, he didn't even have on the armor that the other guys used because the armor was too big for him, right? All he had was those stones in his pocket and his little slingshot. And he defeated Goliath and he saved his whole nation. History, right? Amazing what God did through David with just a little slingshot. So the truth is that God cares about our hobbies and our interests. He actually made us unique. He made each of us to have different, unique interests and desires. And those are not considered unimportant. They are very important because God created us that way with unique desires and interests. He created us to enjoy different things in life. And so, have you ever thought about nature? There's little things and there's big things. Think there's little ants, tiny, tiny ants. Then there's the big trees and all sorts of different sizes of things that God created. God even created minute little things in our body that give us life, and little atoms that make up things that we can't even see with our eye. We have to have a microscope to see some of those things. So the small things are important to God. Our scripture verse for today tells us how important little things are to God. He thinks even the smallest things are important. And that verse is taken from Matthew 10, verse 30. And it says, the very hairs on your head are numbered. Can you imagine God numbered our hair. I've got a lot of hair. I can't even imagine how many hairs are on my head. But God knows exactly how many hairs I have. He knows when I lose one. Have you ever brushed your hair and a hair fell out? But God knows when you lose one and when you get a new growth coming in there. He knows every detail about the number of hairs on our head. That is amazing. So, what can we say? The first thing we can say is God cares about the big things and the small things. Can you say that with me? God cares about the big things and the small things. The second thing we say is God cares about what I like. Can you say that? Say that with me. God cares about what I like. And the last thing is God delights in me. Let's say that together. God delights in me. So what are some things that we can do? Think about and find out what things make you happy. What things do you enjoy? And then take a moment to think about those things that you enjoy and ask yourself 2 questions about what you enjoy. The first question is this thing I enjoy doing or this activity, is it hurting me? That's your first question. Is it hurting me? The second question is, am I hurting others when I do this? So have you asked yourself the 2 questions? Am I hurting myself or am I hurting others when I do this? If your answer to those 2 questions are no, then celebrate. This is part of your life. It's okay to enjoy those. All right, the next thing is experience God's delight. Just ask God, how do you feel about this thing I enjoy doing? He's excited to tell you about those things. Just think about how when you do something and you want to show your parents what you've done, you really enjoyed doing something, you want to tell about it, and you're telling your parents or you're showing them something you've done, they begin to smile, right? So just think about how much God smiles because he delights in what you delight in, and he smiles over you. The next thing is practice what you enjoy. Remember, David practiced the slingshot. And so just think about those things that you enjoy doing and think about, those things that you enjoy could become something that would lead to you making history or something that would change the world. So keep enjoying those things that you like to do. And just remember to make that declaration this week. God cares about the big things and the small things. He cares about what you like, and God delights in you. Have a great week. See you soon. Love you.